Sanibuzele sanamukela amasonto amahle lo mhla ehlelweni Kusile Breakfast Show sevele shayile insimbi yesithupha sanivusela asiyanamukela sibonga kakhulu ukuthi namhla ekseni kungilesihlanu nikhethe kuvuka nathi lo mhla ehlelweni lenivuselako ngulungelele Magagula ngesihlanu timfica enyangeni yenyoni umnyaka ngo2022 Magobane kunjani lo mhla ekseni
Siyavuka ujuka kanjani wena
No siyavuka Magobane sivuka nje netindzaba letibhlungu impela
leti titsinza umhlaba ke yatsinza mangisi kuphela tsinza umhlaba wonke ngibuka itolo indlela becorrectwa ngayo the world over
even world leaders Magobane bo former president Barack Obama nabo bakukhona labakushido imilayeto nje lemihle bayichaza indlovukazi ukuthi beyingumvlonjani former president Donald Trump baningi nje labavete imifo yabo ngekushona kwayo indlovukazi
Sibisela nje bongosini imbala iyo indzaba lehamba embili emhlabeni wonke yokuhamba emhlabeni kwa Queen Elizabeth II olapha emangisini hamba emhlabeni ke ku palace yakhe lase Scotland langeni la itolo kubhekile ekuthenini lomuhla inkosi yalo live lemangisi King Charles III kube khona la kushoko esiveni semangisi nahle emhlabeni wonke jikelele I think the prime minister ube nema prime ministers lang 15 Liz Truss the 15 prime minister kube khona la kushoko na itolo
kukhona la kushido Magobane khuluma nje after kwendeke after bamemetele lokuthi sosishile usiyekane iminyaka lengemashumi la imfica nesithupha 96 years uphilile waqala ukubusa live lamangisi ngeminyaka wa 1952 and
she was 27 years of age
27 ulibusile lela live Magobane and of course bamthanza immediately after kuvakale letindzaba sibabonile baphuma bayobeka timbali babonakala vele ukuthi no baselisizini beva buhlungu kakhulu kodwa ke nyalo asesimlalele prime minister Truss ukuthi ingabe ukhuluma wathini.
We are all devastated by the news that we have just heard from Balmoral. The death of Her Majesty the Queen is a huge shock to the nation and to the world. Queen Elizabeth II was the rock on which modern Britain was built. Our country has grown and flourished under her reign. Britain is the great country it is today because of her. She ascended the throne just after the Second World War. She championed the development of the Commonwealth from a small group of 7 countries to a family of 56 nations, spanning every continent of the world. We are now a modern, thriving, dynamic nation. Through thick and thin, Queen Elizabeth II provided us with the stability and the strength that we needed. She was the very spirit of Great Britain, and that spirit will endure. She has been our longest ever reigning monarch. It's an extraordinary achievement to have presided with such dignity and grace for 70 years. Her life of service stretched beyond most of our living memories. In return, she was loved and admired by the people in the United Kingdom and all around the world. She has been a personal inspiration to me and to many Britons. Her devotion to duty is an example to us all. Earlier this week, at 96, she remained determined to carry out her duties as she appointed me as her 15th Prime Minister. Throughout her life, she's visited more than 100 countries, and she has touched the lives of millions around the world. In the difficult days ahead, we will come together with our friends across the United Kingdom, the Commonwealth and the world to celebrate her extraordinary lifetime of service. It is a day of great loss, but Queen Elizabeth II leaves a great legacy. Today the crown passes, as it has done for more than 1,000 years, to our new monarch, our head of state, His Majesty King Charles III. With the King's family, we mourn the loss of his mother, and as we mourn, we must come together as a people to support him, to help him bear the awesome responsibility that he now carries for us all. We offer him our loyalty and devotion, just as his mother devoted so much to so many for so long. And with the passing of the second Elizabethan age, we usher in a new era in the magnificent history of our great country, exactly as Her Majesty would have wished, by saying the words, "God save the King."
Prime Minister Olivele Mangisi Kusile truce addressa ke eMangisi ngekamba kwa emhlabeni kwayo indlovukazi uthi the throne passes. Now they are saying may God save the king. Sithamka bekuthiwa long live the queen.
Long live
may
the
God
queen.
save the queen.
Yeah, bamchazile ke Prime Minister ukuthi Queen Elizabeth was the rock of Britain, and she has traveled to over 100 countries and touched so many lives. She has met 13 US presidents during her reign. Presidents labangaka. Yeah, since 1952, athatha wona umbuso wamangisi so vele soshiye emhlabeni aneminyaka lengu 96 makobana.
Kaze mawuselitshini zaba statistics ke namhla ekseni zaba lethifa ikhathi zaba temandla njengoba kubhekile kusim baka isera babe nemihlangano na executive director libuke dona ke zaba temandla kulesifundza saka Sadak but abe babukusana nzaba letinye letsinza nje petroleum series of meetings labheke saqaleke lo mhla zaba le statistics ibuke esingene mathunjini ate bongosi kusi sitakala njani singemaswati ngoba the ultimate goal kusibe energy sufficient silivele Eswatini.
Kunjalo mukele sitaphinze sikhulumisane nalaba suka ka ERS Eswatini Revenue Service nyoba watokhumula ukuthi njalo ngabe lesihlanu siba nabo la abato sitekela kabanti ngetindzaba temthelo lamhla ke sita besikhuluma kabanti ngekubhadalwa kwemthelo kwetisebenti letisebenta kuma embassies kanye nama international organizations. Phindze sibuke dona temidlalo lomhla ekseni ngale kwaloko nyalo asibohlela imarket nasibuya sathethe indzaba tethu futhi ekucala.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Sibenze sinivusele sanimukela nanensanza kusivulela sitakwati indzaba tefuthi ekucala tehlelo. Silengosi Mswalo Sithafu sesisukumise ngekwemthetho yemidlalo elikaluva yalonyaka ngaphansi komncintiswano weKings Golf Cup Tournament. Iphefumula esigodlweni kalozitha esidlweni sakusihlwa sekusukumisa lemidlalo. Imbube yemhlaba ithumise uhulumende kanye nelibandla lelilungiselela lemidlalo ngekuchubeka nekusebenta ngekutikhandla ukuthi leliphupho lingafi.
Umdlalo welegaluva lowatiwa ngele Kings Cup Golf Tournament sewubuyile ngemuva kokuthi uthethe ukhefu iminyaka lemibili ngenxa yemkhuhlane we-COVID-19. Lona mdlalo wasukunyiswa ingonyama yamaswati kukhanga abatshali imali lababiya kulamanye emave nokuthi ufake isandla ekuthuthukiseni tekuvakasha. Imbube yemhlaba seyibusisile ke ukuthi uqale lo msebenzi kulomnyaka wa 2022. Siphefumulela umhlaba silo inkosi Mswati wesithathu sithi lemidlalo yalonyaka ibonakala isezingeni leliphakeme nalelithuthukile futhi.
Bekunene umsebenzi lona muhle kakhulu ngoba umsebenzi wegalufa lo fundzisa lo promoter igalufa Eswatini uthi sibe nema golfers uphinze ukwadi ukuthi uattract nalabanye lababuya ngaphandle kuleli batosi ngenela kulomsebenzi nabo babe ingcenye ye labatawube badlala igalufa lapha kithi kaNkwane bekunene. Lesikholwa ko lokuthi kuyawukhuthaza nemaswati lamanyendi bekunene ukuthi abemanyende eMaswati latawusibuka le sport kusidlala professional ngoba sine likusasa lelihle bekunene esigabeni ukuthi dinyende izinto letiphumelelako nase ubonalisa ukuthi sobitwa ngalesa sigaba lesi ube ngwaza ubonalisa ukuthi kuphuma lababonala ukuthi kuphuma labavele baba sezingeni le bayawuba famous balingise lama golfers la khona emhlabeni la famous ukuthi nala kithi kangwane sibheke lokho ngalelinye ilanga kuphume ama golfers la uphuma ayol representa live abonalise ukuthi awuphakamisa umjeka wakangwane bekunene.
Umhlanhlandvu nankulu Cleopas Dlamini sewubonge imbube emhlamba ukuthi lena midlalo ibuye nalonyaka njengoba ifaka sandla ukuthuthukisa dekuvakasha leti bese tifaka sandla lesibandi ekuthuthukiseni umnotho welive.
Now that His Majesty has blessed this game to go ahead, the gates of tourism are open. As we all know, golf courses are always found, if not near, but as part and parcel of top-rated hotels. Even in our own country, that is the same. Tourism is a major contributor to the economic development of this country and to its GDP. Siyabonga wena waphakathi isupport le inkosi ikhombisile kulomdlalo wetegaluva kunekuvuse nako nje kuvuseni umnotho welive la kangwane sisibayethe wena waphakathi.
Indvuna yekuvakasha Moses Vilakati seyikhutelwandle ngekuthi ingwenyama iqhamuke nalombono wemidlalo lathe lemidlalo imcokwa futhi iligugu even leSwatini. Lokhulumele libandla lelibuke emalungiselelo alomdlalo Mandla Dlamini uthe kusifiso sabo kubona lo msebenzi lona undlondlobala waphindze wabonga imbube ngekuthi ibethembe ngokubethwesa lona msebenzi. Le midlalo lenyaka isekelwe ngetimali letilinganiselwa ku 1.9 million emalangeni kanti lonyaka le mali ikhulile uma kucathaniswa neminyaka lengcile. Lokhulumelela abafake isandla kule midlalo walonyaka umphathi we-Eswatini Royal Insurance zamangcobo ubongile ukuthi bakhona ukufaka isandla kulo msebenzi noma nje tinkampani letiningi tikhanyabetekile kutemnotfo kule minyaka lemibili lendlulile. Leti nkampani letisekelele midlalo yi-Eswatini Royal Insurance, MTN Eswatini, inkampani yagezi kuleli kanye nelibhange leNedbank. Le midlalo ibheke ukuthi ingenelwe bashayi belgaluva lababuya emaveni akaSadak lasikhombisa lafaya ekhathi leSwatini, iBotswana, Malawi, Namibia, South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe kanye neKenya lesempumalanga neAfrika. Etindzabeni kubika Pholile Maziya esigodlweni kaLozitha.
Liphinile ndvunankulu Themba Masuku lithi kunesidingo lesikhulu sekuthi kufakwe tinhlelo tekufundisa ngetehlakalo kanye nekuguquguquka kwesimo selitulu etikolweni. Lihhovisi letekuchumana ehhovisini leliphina ndvunankulu lithi liphina ndvunankulu belikhuluma emhlanganweni wenhlangano yemave ase-Afrika i-African Union kanye nenhlangano yemave lasendasini ye-Afrika i-SADC lohlose kubuka tindlela tekwatisa sive ngetimo tetehlakalo letahlukene lokufanele kwenteke tiseta letehlakalo.
Emavela ase-Afrika ngaphansi kwenhlangano ye-African Union kanye nalawo la ngaphansi kwenhlangano yemavela asesifundeni lesendasini ne-Afrika, i-Southern Africa Development Community ahlangene edolobheni leMaputo eMozambique lapha abukisana khona tindlela tekwatisa sive ngetimo tetehlakalo letahlukene nalokufanele kwenteke tiseta tehlakalo. Umbiko lothunyelwe betindzaba lihhovisi letekuchumana ehhovisini leliphini ndvunankulu uveta ukuthi liphini ndvunankulu Themba Masuku letfule inkulumo yalo kulo mhlangano lapho livete khona kwekuthi tindzaba tetehlakalo nekuguquguquka kwesimo selitulu kufanele sale tifundziswa etikolweni. Masuku uchubeke waveta kwekuthi kumcoka kwekuthi bohulumende bayifake imali yekulwa nedehlakalo nekuguquguquka kwesimo selitulu kumaphakelo. Indvuna yelitiko letekuvakasha nemvelo Moses Vilakati yithi live leSwatini selende tinhlelo letahlukene kulwa nekuguquguquka kwesimo selitulu lokufaka ekhatsi kunciphisa kwekusetshenziswa kwemaplastiki. Indvuna iphindze yachaza kwekuthi live lakhe lihlaka lolichazako kwekuthi litawubhekana kanjani netimo tedehlakalo kanye nekuguquguquka kwesimo selitulu. Etindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Nelson Dlangamandla, umbiko ubuya ehhovisi letekuchumana ehhovisini leliphini landvuna nkhulu.
Indvuna yelitiko letangephandle nekudlelana nalamanye emave tulidladla ithi live leSwatini lisibuke emhlabeni jikelele njengobe lisime emasikweni. Indvuna bekhulumana yemukela umlingani wayo lekuyindvuna yetangephandle eveni leGambia Dr. Tangara Mamado lokuleli kutawungenela umhlanga waseshiselweni.
Buhle belive laseSwatini kanye nekugcinwa kwemasiko solo kuyachubeka nekukhanga tivakashi letichamuka ngephandle. Emukela umlingani wakhe, indvuna yelitiko letangephandle nekudlelana nalamanye emave tulidladla ithi inhlitiyo yemakhosi ngiyona leyenta kube melula ukuthi lamanye emave akhone kuvakashela laseSwatini kutobuka buhle bemasiko.
Lobudlelwane lobu bakhiwa ngiyo ingwenyama because lapho ihamba khona wonke umuntu iyam-embrace. Naye weke kunene kuda lapha ufuna kubona umhlanga lo identity yethu lesitigcajako ngayo asitigcaphi sodwa. iAfrika nayo iyatigcapha ngokuthi livela kangwane lisagcine imihambo yayo.
Indvuna yetangaphandle eveni leGambia Dr. Tangara Mamado uthi emasiko afaka sandla lesibandi entfutfukweni yelive kanye ke nasekusimamiseni inhlalakahle yebantfu.
We have seen in many fora the way the people, the subjects, they receive His Majesty. That's a pride for all Africans. When you go to the United Nations before he speaks, they showcase their culture. And I think culture is very important in our development process, because what Africa is suffering most from is the fact that we are seeing ourselves through the eyes of others. And when you see yourself through the eyes of others, you tend to follow them. And I met one old man during my research. I did research on what I call the African industry of knowledge. He said, when you follow, you are always behind. So it's important that Africans, we think for ourselves, do things by ourselves, taking into consideration our specificities. And you see, many things in Africa, we think that we inherited them from the colonial masters. But when you do deeper research, and I'm sure in Swaziland, in Eswatini, these are all remnants of the colonial masters, giving us names, but it's good that we reclaim our own identity. And the fact of calling again the kingdom Eswatini, it's a noble act, a powerful one that is showing your attachment to your culture.
Indvuna tulidladla ithi basetohlala phasi nemlingani wayo kubamba tingxoxo letitawuveta ematfuba sive salamave lamabili langazuza kuwo. Etindzabeni kubika Sondomlangeni nginaThemba Shabangu ezulwini.
Lihhovisi leliphini landvunankhulu inyuvesi yakuleli kanye nenhlangano yekudla kamhlaba i-World Food Program selisayine isivumelwano sekusebenzisana kubuka tindlela tekutfutfukisa telicwaningo enhlangothini lokuphunga tehlakalo kanye nekuthi tingasetjentwa kanjani kude tingabi nemiphumela lemibi eveni. Mapalane lomkhulu kulelitiko Melusi Masuku uthi lesivumelwano sitawusita kwekuthi uhulumende akhone ukubhekana ngcono netehlakalo.
Kuqinisekisa kwekuthi live liyakhona kubhekana nedehlakalo kanye nekuthi sive asithikabeteki kakhulu nasetifikile. Lihhovisi leliphini landvunankhulu kanye nenhlangano yetekudla kamhlaba kuleli i-World Food Program kanye nenyuvesi yakuleli selisayine isivumelwano sekusebenzisana kubhekana naletimo. Mapalane lomkhulu kuleli tiko Melusi Masuku uthi njengoba live lichubeka nekubhekana nedehlakalo kumcoka kwekuthi tindlela tekusebenta nato tiqiniswe kungako leli hhovisi libone ukuthi kuqiniswe kusebenza kwalo kanye naleti nhlangothi.
Amidst the ongoing humanitarian programs being implemented in the country, repeated shocks have continued to affect households, and the most vulnerable population groups have been mainly affected. It has therefore become evident that there is a need to enhance our work and invest in resilience building for the vulnerable population to ensure that whenever a disaster strikes, communities will be able to withstand the impact. Since 2019, the World Food Programme has provided technical and financial support to the Deputy Prime Minister's office in the three-pronged approach to programming, and UNISWA has also provided technical support towards the rollout of the program.
Lisekela lemphatho yenyuvesi yakuleli Professor Justice Thwala lithi inzima letawudlalwa yinyuvesi ifaka ekhathi kwendalicwaningo kufundzisa tinhlangothi letitsindzekako ngetehlakalo nekusita hulumende asasebenta tindzaba tetehlakalo.
Most recently, UNISWA has taken this partnership even further by contributing to the planning and implementation of the seasonal livelihood programming initiative by WFP, for which the DPM's office has been the leading government entity. UNISWA, through the MOA, is further committing to continue providing the necessary support, technically and otherwise, to strengthen this partnership.
Melusi kunene lobuke emahhovisi aka World Food Programme kuleli uthi kuyakhathata kubona ukuthi tinombolo tebantfu labadzingile tiyakhula kuleli. Uthi kunesidingo sekuthi kubuke kwekuthi yini leholela kwekuthi tingake tehle letinombolo.
In this MOA we are saying, let us look closer to resilience building. Let us look closer to the issue that are related to social safety nets. Social safety nets that are comprehensive, that are not only targeting the individual, but that will target the household, because we want to see the household moving out of poverty as WFP into a state where we can say now at least we are at a zero poverty rate.
Mapalanelo omkhulu uthi uyethemba kwekuthi lezivumelwano sitawusita emaswati lamaningi. Etindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Nelson Dlangamandla nginambongwa Dube yembabane.
Inkantolo yamanje seyinikete umbuso imvumo yokugcina emazibithi latholakala kubasolwa emacaleni ekuchumiswa kwemishina yemali. Lamazibithi afaka ekhathi timoto letimbili, imali lengetulo kwa 409,000 emalangeni, tingcotfo kanye nemateki langu size 11. Lenye yale mali yatholakala ebhokisini le-KFC.
Labasolwa kulendzaba bosicelo Msibi, Mzwandile Lukhele, Given Mavuso kanye naLindani Zitha babhekene nemacala la-17 lafaka ekhathi kuchumisa imishina yemali, kweba imali, kuthumba umuntu kanye nekukhwabanisa imali nekuchasa ngetimali buphekulasikuni. Labasolwa bavele phambi kwenkantolo yamanje eMbabane lapho tekuphepha betiqiniswe kakhulu. Umbuso ucele inkantolo ukuthi uyivumele ugcine emazibithe latholakala kubasolwa nalapho kwendeka khona lobucala. Lamazibithe afaka ekhathi itimoto letimbili, imali lengetulu kwa 251,000 emalangeni leyatholakala lapho kwachunyiswa khona umshina wemali we-Standard Bank, imali lengetulu kwa 158,000 emalangeni leyatholakala kubasolwa. Timpahla letifaka ekhatsi emateki langu size 11, tingcotfo nabomahlalekhukhukhwini kulokunye. Basolwa ngemmeli wabo Sive Ngwenya abakakuphikisi loku lokucelwe ngumbuso, kodwa bacele kuthi sale kubekwa emalanga ekutekwa kwalendzaba. Umbuso lebewumelelwe ngumncedisi Dlamini utshele inkantolo ukuthi lamalanga angabekwa noko kusamele ayothathisa kumcondzisi webashushisi ukuthi lendzaba itawutekwa enkantolo yamanje noma enkantolo lenkulu. Ngwenya ukhalile ukuthi umbuso awusahambi ngetivumelwano noma-ke ngekuvumelana kwabo njengobe bekuvunyelwene ukuthi basolwa angeke baphikise sicelo sekugcina emazibiti bese kuvunyelwana-ke ngemalanga ekutekwa kwale ndzaba. Kugcine sekuvunyelwana ukuthi le ndzaba itekwe kusukela mhla ka-18 enyangeni yeMphala. Inkantolo iphindze yajuba ukuthi lamazibiti agcinwe ngumbuso kusatekwa leli cala. Le ndzaba beyisembi kwalosabambe kuba nguMantshi Lomkhulu Sifiso Vilakati. Tindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Themkosi Mavimbela. Inavuma Inkosi Nzinisa kamanje Mbabane.
Bahambe nemali lengetulu kwetinkulungwane letingemakhulu lamane 482,750 bozidlane labahlasele babhomba etshaneni complex letigangi letibaleke emahlathini asemananga ePolani solo tisengakatholakali.
Labo sidlani labe balishumi nakubili bagcekeze bangena esitolo saseboxer babhomba i-ATM yase Building Society lengekhathi kwalesitolo lapho bafike bathatha khona imali letinkulungwane letingemakhulu lamathathu 300,000 emalangeni kanti kusengakateki ukuthi bathathe malini esifeni salesitolo naso labasibhombile baqhubeke bagcekeza imali letinkulungwane letingemashumi lamane nakunye 41,000 emalangeni ebhasini yakantamakuphila babese bangenelana nesitolo setincingo saka ZP lapho bathethe khona imali letinkulungwane letilikhulu nemashumi lamathathu nakubili 132,000 emalangeni kanti kulesitolo baphindze bathatha impahla lengalinganiselwa etinkulungwaneni letingemashumi lamabili nakuthathu nemakhulu lamathathu nemashumi lasihlanu 23,350 emalangeni. Umxhumanisi wesive nemaphoyisa phindile Vilakati uma sinika lo mbiko uvetile ukuthi kusede lobanjiwe kuleti gangi kanti luphenyo lusaqhubeka. Etindzabeni teSwatini TV ngingibongosi Magagule etshaneni.
Kutemidlalo mengameli wenhlangano lengamele ibhola lapha eVeni Peter Simelane uthi emalungiselelo ekudlalisa imidlalo yeCOSAFA yema under 20 ahamba kahle futhi nahulumende uyababambisa ekuchubeni lamalungiselelo. Lemidlalo kubheka ukuthi icala emhla ka6 kuya kumhla ka16 enyangeni etako.
Live la Kangwane kubheka ukuthi lidlalisa imidlalo yeCOSAFA under 20 kulomnyaka losetulu kanti live la Kangwane lagcina kudlalisa lemidlalo ngeminyaka 1993. Sasamora Simelane longumengameli wenhlangano lengameli imidlalo yebhola lapha eVeni uthi emalungiselelo ekudlalisa lemidlalo asahamba kahle.
Kulama games aka COSAFA emalungiselelo asasechopheleni leselitulu nahulumende in terms of ukuthi basivumele sesikhulumile naye wasivumela ukuthi vele achubeke lama games na COSAFA naye so itfakile letimali lafatha tifake in order ukuthi lama games akhone kudlaleka kahle neteam letawudlala umonga kanje unyonyobe uyoyibuka la ijima khona seyilungele lokuthi sengadlala in terms of my preparation the local organizing committee sebacishe bahlanganise tonke tindvo.
Lemidlalo itawungenelwa amavela lishumi nakunye 11 lokufaka ikhathi livele eMozambique lelivikela lendzebe ngemuva okushaya Namibia kumancama lendzebe nakugcina kubanjwa lemidlalo ngeminyaka 2020. Lobekela umsakade eSwatini TV kutemidlalo ngilinda Dlamini kanti umbiko uhlanganiswa nguFabrice Msonera eMbabane.
Aletwete imidlalo siyatephetsa tekucala tindzaba tefuna sibuya timakethe sidabe sikhulumisana na Communications Director kaEswatini Revenue Service kwamanje senishine simo selitulu.
The Elections and Boundaries Commission joins the entire Eswatini nation in celebrating the country's 54th independence anniversary. Long live the nation.
I am Eswatini at the Luju Festival. I've just done my demonstration and it was on fire.
I think you love cooking, huh?
I bake a lot of cakes.
such a vibe here. And what I'm loving is like the fashion, the food. It's just this really amazing combination of lifestyle, understanding, acknowledging and celebrating what makes us different, what makes us diverse, but also what makes us beautiful as Africans.
I just won the junior chef competition. I was very excited because cooking was one of the most favorite things I love doing.
With my first recipe, so I've got some raspberries that go on top and some mint.
Theme, and I think it should be a daily theme for Africa from here on into the future.
Bokose siyaqhubana nalo kwehlelo nasenza kulelo umsakazo wakho bolo umsakazo ethombe Eswatini TV sehlelo nekusele breakfast show lo mhla ekseni sifuna ke nekubuka nje emuva emlandweni nakuthatha nakathatha ubukhosi Queen Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor.
Kunjalo mbukeli sasibuke na documentary nje le fishana ukuthi othatha nini wona umkhosi ngeminyaka wa 1952.
She was the only monarch many of the British alive today have ever known, a symbol of her nation, its empire and its Commonwealth. She personified British strength and character, long before she even knew she would be Queen.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and to the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong.
At 25, Elizabeth ascended to the throne after the death of her father, George VI, nearly 5 years after she had married the Greek-born Prince Philip. She saw a thorough transformation of society and technology during her reign of more than 7 decades, a time in which she warned about the dangers of throwing away ageless ideals while embracing the advantages of new inventions. She sent out her first tweet in 2014. There are few records she did not break. She was Britain's most travelled, oldest, longest reigning monarch.
As head of the Commonwealth, the Queen has links with the past. Sometimes it's a past that's difficult to come to terms with because you think of empire, you think of colonial exploitation, for example. But so far as the Queen is concerned, you think of her dedication to the organisation.
She represented Britain in friendships with those who held in common the British values of freedom, equality and democracy. With dignity, she faced those who did not. Being seen with her was a means of gaining the appearance of prestige. The Queen was not immune to criticism in her own country. The left targeted her as a symbol of an institution out of place in a postmodern, neoliberal and democratic world, and a burden on the British taxpayer. The death of the popular Princess Diana was an opportunity for her critics, who accused her of being coldly slow to react.
What I say to you now, as your Queen and as a grandmother, I say from my heart. First, I want to pay tribute to Diana myself. She was an exceptional and gifted human being.
The marriage of her grandson, Prince William, to Kate Middleton brought youthful glamour to the ancient institution. When Prince Harry married American actor Meghan Markle, Elizabeth was at the head of a family that appeared to be moving with the times, popular, diverse and global. But there were painful times ahead. Her second son, Prince Andrew, was investigated for links to a convicted child sex offender. Harry and Meghan fell out with the royal family amid accusations of racism. The passing of Elizabeth's husband, Prince Philip, in 2021 left an enduring image, a queen mourning alone as the coronavirus pandemic swept across her nation. In September, she appointed the 15th Prime Minister of her reign, her last major public engagement. Queen Elizabeth remains a giant in the history of one of the planet's great nations, a bridge between Britain's colonial past and its future as a global player in a world vastly different from the one she was born in. Visiting Germany in 2015, she spoke of the vast changes she had witnessed.
In our lives, Mr. President, we have seen the worst, but also the best of our continent. We have witnessed how quickly things can change for the better. But we know that we must work hard to maintain the benefits of the post-war world.
Britain's royal tradition, of which Elizabeth was a steward, is now in the hands of her heirs. The Britain they inherit is a drastically different one in terms of demographics, culture and economics. In a globalized, pluralistic world, their job of projecting an image of greatness is no less complicated.
Death is a cruel animal, an animal that takes away innocent souls who will never hurt a fly.
Yeah, what I liked about Queen Elizabeth njengoba nguchazela Magwabana is her sense of style. Masutu akhe lamahle mathupisa akhe bo orange labo purple bakhe nelegqoko dakhe no beka swenka kakhulu.
When a 96-year-old passes on, do we cry or we celebrate?
You cry or
celebrate?
We celebrate her life. Njengoba besi celebrate nje ereign yakhe ya 70 years, the 70th jubilee. So celebrate Magwabane. Siyakhala kona siva buhlungu lo 5%, but we're celebrating her life.
Because so vele khona ke Norman sitawungena sithi kenzaba taka ERS namhla ekseni sivekuseni ngabe laba abasebenzela le ngesheya kwetilwandle bathela nje basithela le Eswatini.
Pay your TV license quickly and easily with MTN Momo. Simply dial *007 *3# and select option 8 for TV license. Enter your national ID number as your reference and the amount you wish to pay. Then enter your PIN to confirm your payment. Once your payment has been made, you'll receive a confirmation SMS of your payment. If you're a first-time payer, you get another SMS for your TV license. So legalize your entertainment from the comfort of your home. Pay your TV license the easy and convenient way with MTN Momo.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni per month. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store.
We're good together. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Bose siyaqhubana lokwehlelo namhla ekseni uyakhumbula ukuthi njalo nje ngabo lwesihlanu sina kanzaba lethi qhamuka kumthelisi kuna Norman bongosi qhamuka khona ka ERS namhla ekseni ufuna kuteka indzaba tshala bala ukhanza sibasebenzela kuma embassies phepha ke iqiniso lekuphila lithi kunema embassy nje la iveni kunemaswati asebenzela kuma embassy kunemaswati asebenzela kuma embassy live lengaphandle ngiyakhumbula nje ukuthi leSwatini we've got 12 embassies and high commissions lengesheya kwetilwandle nema 15 consulates kepha ke ngina Norman lo tasita yena lo ufuna singiqale ngakuphi lenzaba ngoba ngine interest nami kulenzaba la angikuvuzele vusi namhla ekseni
sibonge gule ngivusela wena
angiqale la ukhona yini umehluko kuvusi lamini lo sebenzela eAmerican Embassy lelapha ezolweni na vusi Nkambule lo sebenzela iembassy yaseSwatini leseLondon?
Ukhona umehluko egule ufuna sibuyele ekuthenini umthetho wemthelo ubuka kanjani. Umthetho wemthelo income tax yethu order yethu ibuka kwekuthi where is the source of income, what is deemed to be the source of income. So itselisa imali ngekuthi yakhiwe kuphi, so it's source based
now if income uyakhe ngekhathi even la kaNgwane umthelo kufanele ubhadale even la kaNgwane sisengakafiki ke lamanye mave abukane kwekuthi ayakulandzela abukene ukuthi nangabe uliswati usebenza kulelinye live kufanele umthelo kube nengcenye yemthelo lotawubhadala even kulelo live losuka kulo ngibekise kube besinalo lohlobo lwemthelo bewutawuthi lokube lomthetho wethu bowungilolo hlobo bewutawuthi nangabe kusho ukuthi lovusi ngambule lobekisa ngaye losebenta mhlawumbe kulelinye live outside the country ngekuthi uliswati abetawubhadala kaNgwane umthelo kepha ke at the moment it's not like that
nanoma abhadalwa ngulohulumende waseSwatini ambhadala lokuthiwa umsebenzela le.
Okay, lokho ke sekuphinza kwehluke kancane ngicabanga ukuthi kutawufuna sikutholele isikhathi sako sikuchaza nyalo sibuka ikakhulukati naba kulelo khanza ukuthi njengoba sathi ukuthi even la kaNgwane kunema emavela ancuselela amanye emavela okungema embassies ema high commissions kuphinza kube nema agencies lamanye la ngema international agencies eze asebenda lawo ma UN noma asethapha even la kaNgwane iembassy njengoba wadi kule kuyafana nekuthi live ngekhathi kulelinye live now umthetho ke wemthelo uyaye uthi kufuna ukuthi lona lokuqashile lokungumqashi wakho kube nguye lotawubamba umthelo wephezulu and awulethe kuhulumende kepha ke in this particular case kulukhuni kwekuthi silive singahambela lelinye live ngokuthi libambe umthelo kugule losebenta kuleyo embassy uthi ke lo mthetho wethu lensaya yekuletha lo mthelo bese iba kugule ngicela kubekisa njengoba ukuthi kule mhlawumbe usebenzela iembassy thithe even la kaNgwane uliswati uqashwe khona la kaNgwane nabo lele sikhuluma ngabo kule asikhulumi ngalaba lokhanza ukuthi leyo embassy iqashe abantu labasuka kulamanye emave basebenza even la kaNgwane labo indzaba yemthelo asiyikhulumisi kubo vele sikhulumisa laba labangemaswati labaqashiwe baqashwa kulawo ma embassies uthi ke lo mthetho umthwalo uba kubo ukuthi kufuna bawulethe lo mthelo
manje vusi niyakhona yini kusebenzisana probably ngingivasti ma embassies ukhanza sangale ka foreign affairs kwathi ukuthi embassy X uqashe emaswati langaka futhi lawo maswati lawo nakavele efastelweni avela kanje uzinto wathi ukuthi nabe the prerogative is on me ufuna ngilethe lo mthelo ufuna ngilethe malini ki but angiqala kutheni niyakhona nikwathi ukuthi kulusebenta ku embassy X la Swatini
njengoba sathi sikhona kwathi ukuthi kule usebenza eSwatini TV siyakhona kwathi ukuthi bobani baqashwe kuphi liqiniso lelo kulula ke kakhulu njengoba usho ema embassies nema agencies aga lamanye la international akasiwo lamanengi kangako ukuthi singakhona kwathi ukuthi kunebantu labaqashiwe kuphi ngicela lokusho ukuthi akusiyo mhlawumbe involensha sesike sakhulumisana nabo empeleni kulamaviki letako siyaye sihambe through yona vele iMinistry of Foreign Affairs kube ngiyo leta sisita ukuthi silungiselele emavikini letako nje sidabe sizama ukuthi sifundzise sikhumbutane nabo mhlawumbe kuleyo mhlangano lesitawubita leto tisebenzi letiqashiwe kulawo ma international organizations nema embassies
ngala ebusinessini futhi nanibeka lama deadlines nathi kube neliswathi la khona akhona nema deadlines ngale ukuthi babheke ukuthi nabo encenye noma vele every month end kufune baveleke into kanjani
it's normally an expectation ukuthi bangayiletha on a monthly basis nangabe kusho ukuthi uholile ngoba vele bahola ngalokuthi lo mqashi wabo akababambeli vele akakaphoqelele ukuthi ababambele insaya bese iba kuboke bafuna ukuthi kwecala labangakabhalisi babhalise labanenge babo babhalisile bathi ngekubhalisa ke kithi sekuyabhekeka ukuthi njalo kufuna bawulethe loyo mthelo then ke lokho sesikhuluma ngama deadlines njengoba wathi sikhuluma ngama deadlines ekuletha lawo ma returns by kule group lena nje because itawufolisha under individuals by 30 November kuyabhekeka ukuthi kufuna balethe imibiko just like everyone else
ngifuna kubekisa ngasebholeni futhi sive umdlali a retire ebholeni bese nasa retire sikuchamuka umthelisi kulelo live uthi babe ukunento umthelo wena longaka ngiyafuna ke ukuthola ukuthi ngoba la ngalana lensaya ikulomuntu akaveli ke egule kuba sehlathini nimela kuze kube nendlela ayidingako yini kini bese nithi babe asesiqale sendlule kunayenzaba naye iba khona indlela yokungitfola if nawe nje ngidecide house no mina kude lo ngihlanisa na ERS angeke ngivele vele
That's why we encourage ukuthi bantu aba comply from the word go from the beginning, because vele there comes a time where usitawugcina sidiscover ukuthi ima kunemali lebe uyakha but bowungayideclare leyo income lokusho ukuthi bowungawubhadali umthelo one way or the other at some point in time. Njengoba ubekisa siyayisibona emaveni ukhanza ukuthi umuntu utside njengasebholeni uyabekisa so uretire later on sekuyadiscovereka ukuthi ngathi kukhona lebe kungendeki kahle. Remember kule ukuthi lokwendeka ngalesinye isikhathi ayendiwa ema-audits on certain things ukhanza ukuthi nasekwendiwa lawo ma-audits vele ama-audits ayabuke emuva kokuthi bekwendekani kuyendeka ke ukhanza ukuthi sekudiscover kadini vele ungatendi yet you are expected ukuthi ucomply. That's when you then will be expected ukuthi kufuna still uyibhadale leyo mali njengoba uyayibona emaveni igcine kuyiswa netinkantolo all sorts of things. So we are trying to encourage ema colleagues zethu noma ke emaswati la sebenda kulawo ma embassies ukuthi they should take the opportunity and ensure that they comply so that bangadikhanzi ba in that kind of a situation.
Lokusho sinjengalo ngifuna ukugcizela neza bekutheni nakungendeka namhla kunalo qashwa kuleyo embassy kufune etekini into nibikela ukuthi mina sengicashwe lapha
kunjalo abike ukuthi sengicashiwe and so that istombhalisa nathi abe khona ku taxpayer base kuze ade ukhona ukuthi ende lokufanele akwende edinzabeni demthelo.
Nemba laba ngose nguvusi siteka lenzaba ekutheni ningabe lamaswati aqashwe kula ma embassy nala live inzima le kufanele nabo bayidla kungumsebenzi wabo ke bonkosi ekutheni nanabo bakhiphe lo mthelo vusi sesivalelisa nje ngifuna kuphinza ubuyele kuyogcizelela inzaba bengivete ema deadlines ngala nangala ekutheni angikuva kahle manje singalana kubheka ukuthi ngibe sengibhadele lo mthelo ngakafiki nasikhathi nasi ngifuna ukugcizelela
umthelo kule ubhadalwa on a monthly basis njengoba sisho
ngibinjekile kule nyanga le
and
ibhadala tikolo esarea sekeme ibhadala na tikolo ngiyacetha
nangakubuda kule ukuthi wena awuyaye ungafuni ukubhadala tikolo ayibambile Eswatini TV imali yemthelo liqiniso lethu usuke ufuna ukubhadala so usuke ufuna ukubhadala ngiko sithi nalabo labanemthwalo ukuthi kufuna ulethwe ngibolo mthelo abathi nabayinda ama budgets abo baplana konke ba make sure ukuthi bakwenda konke sekwabalula ke tonke into bathi sadzinga utemahhovisini konke kwendiwa ku e-tax platform nema payments akusadzinga ukuthi uye kuphi konke uyakhona ukukwenda sitting in the comfort of your home or office.
Nembala ngose nginca yalesikhathi kesha ke ngiyafuna ukuthi plana na yevusi ukuthenini ngivena ngale ka foreign affairs sibaba bambela indaba labale ngifuna ngoba uside usikhwalo mehluko kepha nje ke inzaba lebe siteka bonkosi namhla ngemaswatla sebenta tinhlanganweni tekhamba leseswatini nakuma embassies elive nakuma high commissions la nensaya ukuthi nawo awubhadala umthelo njengoba nanasi sonke lesisebenza la Eswatini basibambela labo labasicashile sibhadala wona umthelo sibhadala market bonkosi sitabuya ke sibuke simo kusinjani emgwaqweni namhla ekseni.
Do you remember the spinning thing? This is us. This picture represents what we did. We were there when coronavirus wreaked havoc in our population. Together with other stakeholders, we formed the first line, controlling the spread of the unknown and unseen enemy of the people. Anxious ourselves, we collected dead bodies countrywide. At the time, When no one wanted to come near dead bodies of loved ones, we did care for our fellow citizens. Thank you, the people of Eswatini and teams of first responders.
Bokuthi siyaqhubeka naloku ehlelo namhla kuseni kusele breakfast show nathanza kule umsakazo yakho siyakwemukela sifuna kuhlola nje ukuthi ngabe kungolosihlanu simo sinjani emgwaqweni sovele ke khona madam nguntombenhle fako uThebo ngosuthu asibikela sikuvuzele umntolo sikwamukele ehlelweni namhla kuseni iyahambe kanye nemigwaqo namuhla
ngikuvusele kule ngivusele naye umbukeliwe Kusile breakfast show imigwaqo elivela kangwane singumbutho wembubene sive sesihlolile imigwaqo leminengi iyahambeka eveni yebo kona tikhona tikhinyabedo letikhona lapha nalapha ke nje siyaphuthata kuye lo shayelako ukuthi anake impawu letiphakanyisiwe ukuze ukuthi aphephe asesebenzisa leyo migwaqo ngidawucala ngelidolobha lelikhulu laseMbabane kibane temgwaqo lesemangwaneni atisebenzi nyalo ekseni kanti lesilapha kafiya noma ke lapha eceleni kwesibhedlela esikhulu saseMbabane na uqhamuka khona industrial site uwelela khona esibhedlela eMbabane egovernment ati uveti umbala lobovu lohlahla uyavela nawo lomthubi kepha nasekufanele kuvele lo lobovu ubesa usavele sisinje sive senkosi sisashayela khona lapho asinyakisise singacabangwe ukuthi leto tibane temgwaqo tipile nasekude umbala lovelako umgwaqo lomkhulu osuka khona eheke nasengwenya ubheke khona kamanzini lokufaka ekhasi naye emalagwane uyahambeka nyalo ekseni kude sikhinyabedo lesikhona lapho ekhasi edolobheni kumathapha kukhuthatha nje sive ukuthi sisashayela khona lapho asisebenzise letinye tindlela letitawuphuthuma noma ke letisheshako kwatise phela ukuthi sitala disetting first street noma ke sitala sihamba ngendawo garage lelikhulu la Total ukhanza emini minye timotolo lapho setimnyetelana kulandzela kona ukuthi sitala lesuka ka Star Paint siye khona eposini solo sivaliwe kulandzela kwakhe lokukhona lapho umgwaqo lomunye lesiuhlolile umgwaqo losuka khona kamanzini ubheke khona kuhelehele uwo umvila losuka kamanzini uyakuhelehele lapha ngase Gumtree umgwaqo lapho uyalungiswa bekunene kufanele ukuthi na uqhamuka nje khona lapho unakethe imphawu letibekiwe kwathi sephela ukuthi munye umvila losebenzako kulo mgwaqo lomunye ke besiuhlolile ngombhaqo losuka khona esiphofaneni ubheke eBig Bend lapha eceleni kwelibloho nje noma lapha eceleni kwelibloho lasemtinzeko na ubheka khona eBig Bend uqhamuka ngakhona esiphofaneni kuneloli lapho lefele khona emgwaqweni nje bashayeli abanake imphawu tibekiwe lapho uqaphelisa bona bashayeli ngale kwaloko ule naye umbukeli imigwaqo elive iyahambeka ngaphandle nje kwaleti tikhinyabedo ungaba kufisela yena umbukeli lusuku loluhle naloluphephile basetawusebenzisa yona imigwaqo yelive
Asibonga kakhulu Mntolo bongosibe kwathe kunconstable Ntombenhle faka ukuthi asibikela imigwaqo iyahambeka namhla kuseni nalapho kunati khinyabedo khona sesamba ukuthi bashayeli bayawusebenzisana nalabo ke labahamba ngenyawo emgwaqweni siphephe sonke bongosi sifike ke emakhaya siphephile sibahlola ke makethe nasibuya sizenza bade sibili dalo namhla kuseni you are watching the Friday edition of Kusile breakfast show.
I've just done my demonstration and it was on fire.
I think you're looking home.
I bake a lot of cakes. There's such a vibe here, and what I'm loving is like the fashion, the food. It's just this really amazing combination of lifestyle
understanding, acknowledging and celebrating what makes us different, what makes us diverse, but also what makes us beautiful as Africans.
I just won the junior chef competition. I was very excited because cooking was one of the most favorite things.
Let me start with my first recipe. So, I've got some raspberries that go on top and some mint.
Beautiful theme, and I think it should be a daily theme for Africa from here on into the future.
Asimtse sinivuzele sakumukela nawe losanza kusivulela sitawungena 1970 futhi sibili tehlelo. Silingo somswado wesithafu sesisukumise ngekwemthetho yemidlalo yeligaluva yalonyaka ngaphansi komncintiswano we-Kings Golf Cup Tournament. Iphefumula esigodlweni kalozitha esidlweni sakusihlwa sekusukumisa lemidlalo imbube yemhlaba ethumise uhulumende kanye nelibandla lelilungiselela lemidlalo ngekuchubeka nekusebenta ngekutikhandla kuthi leliphupho lingafi.
Umdlalo weligaluva lowatiwa ngele Kings Cup Golf Tournament sewubuyile ngemuva kokuthi uthethe ukhefu iminyaka lemibili ngenxa yemkhuhlane we-COVID-19. Lona mdlalo wasukunyiswa ingonyama yamaswati kukhanga abatshali timali lababuya kulamanye emave nokuthi ufake isandla ekuthuthukiseni tekuvakasha. Imbube yemhlaba seyibusisile ke kuthi uqale lo msebenzi kulomnyaka wa 2022. Siphefumulela umhlaba silo inkosi Mswati wesithathu sithi lemidlalo yalonyaka ibonakala isezingeni leliphakeme nalelithuthukile futhi.
Bekunene umsebenzi lona muhle kakhulu ngoba umsebenzi wegalufa lo fundzisa lo promoter igalufa Eswatini uthi sibe nema golfers uphinze ukwadi ukuthi uattract nalabanye lababuya ngaphandle kuleli batosi ngenela kulomsebenzi nabo babe ingcenye labatawube badlala igalufa lapha ngithi kaNkwane bekunene. Lesikholwa ko lokuthi kuyawukhuthaza nemaswati lamanyenti bekunene ukuthi abemanyenti emaswati latawusibuka le sport usidlala professional ngoba sine likusasa lelihle bekunene esigabeni ukuthi dinyenti tinto letiphumelelako nase ubonalisa ukuthi sowubitwa ngalesa sigaba lesi ube ngwaza ukubonalisa ukuthi uphuma lababonala ukuthi uphuma labavele baba sezingeni le bayawuba famous balingise lama golfers lakho nemhlabeni la famous ukuthi nala kithi kaNgwane sibheke lokho ngalelinye langa kuphume ama golfers la uphuma ayo representa live abonalise ukuthi awuphakamisa umjeka wakaNgwane bekunene.
Umhlanhlandvu nankulu Cleopas Dlamini sewubonge imbube emhlaba ukuthi lena mdlalo ibuye nalonyaka njengoba ifaka sandla ukuthuthukisa tekuvakasha leti bese tifaka sandla lesibandi ekuthuthukiseni umnotho welive.
Now that His Majesty has blessed this game to go ahead, the gates of tourism are open. As we all know, golf courses are always found, if not near, but as part and parcel of top-rated hotels. Even in our own country, that is the same. Tourism is a major contributor to the economic development of this country and to its GDP. Siyabonga wena waphakathi isupport le inkosi ikhombisile kulomdlalo wetegaluva kunekuvuse nako nje kuvuseni umnotfo welive la kaNgwane sisibayethe wena waphakathi.
Indvuna yetekuvakasha Moses Vilakati seyikhutelwandle ngekuthi ingwenyama ichamuke nalombono wemidlalo lathe le midlalo imcokwa futhi iligugu even leSwatini. Lokhulumele libandla lelibuke emalungiselelo alomdlalo Mandla Dlamini uthe kusifiso sabo kubona lo msebenzi lona undlondlobala waphindze wabonga imbube ngekuthi ibethembe ngekubethwesa lona msebenzi. Le midlalo lenyaka isekelwe ngetimali letilinganiselwa ku 1.9 million emalangeni kanti lo nyaka le mali ikhulile uma kucathaniswa neminyaka lengcile. Lokhulumelela bafake isandla kule midlalo walonyaka umphathi we-Eswatini Royal Insurance Zamangcobo ubongile ukuthi bakhona ukufaka isandla kulo msebenzi noma nje tinkampani letiningi tikhanyabetekile kutemnotfo kule minyaka lemibili lendlulile. Le tinkampani letisekele le midlalo yi-Eswatini Royal Insurance, MTN Eswatini, inkampani yagezi kuleli kanye nelibhange leNedbank. Le midlalo ibheke ukuthi ingenelwe bashayi belgaluva lababuya emaveni akaSadak lasikhombisa lafa ekhathi leSwatini, iBotswana, Malawi, Namibia, South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe kanye neKenya lesempumalanga neAfrika. Etindzabeni kubika Pholile Maziya esigodlweni kaLozitha.
Liphini ilandvunankulu Themba Masuku lithi kunesidingo lesikhulu sekuthi kufakwe tinhlelo tekufundisa ngetehlakalo kanye nekugucugucuka kwesimo selitulo etikolweni. Lihhovisi letekuchumana ehhovisini liphini ilandvunankulu lithi liphini ilandvunankulu belikhuluma emhlanganweni wenhlangano yemave ase-Afrika ye-African Union kanye nenhlangano yemave lasendasi ne-Afrika ye-SADC lohlose ukubuka tindlela tekwatisa sive ngetimo tetehlakalo letahlukene nalokufanele kwenteke tiseta letehlakalo.
Emaveni ase-Afrika ngaphansi kwenhlangano ye-African Union kanye nalawo la ngaphansi kwenhlangano yemave lasesifundeni lesendasi ne-Afrika, i-Southern Africa Development Community ahlangene edolobheni leMaputo eMozambique lapha abukisana khona tindlela tekwatisa sive ngetimo tetehlakalo letahlukene nalokufanele kwenteke tiseta tehlakalo. Umbiko lothunyelwe betindzaba lihhovisi letekuchumana ehhovisini leliphini landvunankulu uveta kutsi liphini landvunankulu Themba Masuku letfule inkulumo yalo kulo mhlangano lapho livete khona kwekuthi tindzaba tetehlakalo nekugucugucuka kwesimo selitulu kufanele sale tifundziswa etikolweni. Masuku uchubeke waveta kwekuthi kumcoka kwekuthi bohulumende bayifake imali yekulwa netehlakalo nekugucugucuka kwesimo selitulu kumaphakelo. Indvuna yelitiko letekuvakasha nemvelo Moses Vilakati yithi live leSwatini selende tinhlelo letahlukene kulwa nekugucugucuka kwesimo selitulu lokufaka ekhatsi kunciphisa kwekusetshenziswa kwemaplastiki. Indvuna iphindze yachaza kwekuthi live lakhe lihlaka lolichazako kwekuthi litawubhekana kanjani netimo tetehlakalo kanye nekugucugucuka kwesimo selitulu. Etindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Nelsiwe Ndlangamandla umbiko ubuya ehhovisi letekuchumana ehhovisini leliphini landvunankulu.
Indvuna yelitiko letangephandle nekudlelana nalamanye emave tulidladla uthi live leSwatini lesibukwe emhlabeni jikelele njengobe lisime emasikweni. Indvuna bekhulumana emukela umlingani wayo lekuyindvuna yetangephandle eveni leGambia Dr. Tangara Mamado lokuleli kutongenela umhlanga waseshiselweni.
Buhle belive laseSwatini kanye nekugcinwa kwemasiko solo kuyachubeka nekukhanga tivakashi letichamuka ngephandle. Emukela umlingani wakhe, indvuna yelitiko letangephandle nekudlelana nalamanye emave tulidladla ithi inhlitiyo yemakhosi ngiyona leyenta kube melula kuthi lamanye emave akhone kuvakashela laseSwatini kutobuka buhle bemasiko.
Lobudlelwane lobu bakhiwa ngiyo ingwenyama because lapho ihamba khona wonke umuntu iyam-embrace. Naye weke kunene kuda lapha ufuna kubona umhlanga lo identity yethu lesitigcajako ngayo asitigcabhi sodwa. I-Afrika nayo iyatigcabha ngokuthi livela kaNgwane lisagcine imihambo yayo.
Indvuna yetangaphandle eveni leGambia Dr. Tangara Mamadou uthi emasiko afaka sandla lesibandi entfutfukweni yelive kanye ke nasekusimamiseni inhlalakahle yebantfu.
We have seen in many fora the way the people, the subjects, they receive His Majesty. That's a pride for all Africans. When you go to the United Nations before he speaks, they showcase their culture. And I think culture is very important in our development process, because what Africa is suffering most from is the fact that we are seeing ourselves through the eyes of others. And when you see yourself through the eyes of others, you tend to follow them. And I met one old man during my research. I did research on what I call the African industry of knowledge. He said, when you follow, you are always behind. So it's important that Africans, we think for ourselves, do things by ourselves, taking into consideration our specificities. And you see, many things in Africa, we think that we inherited them from the colonial masters. But when you do deeper research, and I'm sure in Swaziland, in Eswatini, these are all remnants of the colonial masters, giving us names, but it's good that we reclaim our own identity. And the fact of calling again the kingdom Eswatini, it's a noble act, a powerful one that is showing your attachment to your culture.
Indvuna Thulidladla ithi basetohlala phasi nemlingani wayo kubamba tingxoxo letitawuveta ematfuba sive salamave lamabili langazuza kuwo. Etindzabeni kubika Sondomlangeni kunaThemba Shabangu ezulwini.
Lihhovisi leliphina mvulankulu inyuvesi yaseswatini kanye nenhlangano yekudla kamhlaba ye-World Food Program kuleli selisayine isivumelwano sekusebenzisana kubuka indlela tekuthuthukisa telicwaningo ehlangothini lokuphunga tehlakalo kanye nekuthi tingasetshenziswa kanjani kude tingabi nemiphumela lemibi esiveni. Mabhalane lomkhulu kulelitiko Melusi Masuku uthi lesivumelwano sitawusita ukuthi uhulumende akhone ukubhekana ngcono netehlakalo.
Kuqinisekisa kwekuthi live liyakhona kubhekana netehlakalo kanye nekuthi sive asithikabeteki kakhulu nasetifikile. Lihhovisi leliphini mvunankulu kanye nenhlangano yetekudla kamhlaba kuleli i-World Food Program kanye nenyuvesi yakuleli selisayine isivumelwano sekusebenzisana kubhekana naletimo. Mabhalane lomkhulu kuleli tiko Melusi Masuku uthi njengoba live lichubeka nekubhekana netehlakalo kumcoka kwekuthi tindlela tekusebenta nato tiqiniswe kungako leli hhovisi libone ukuthi kuqiniswe kusebenta kwalo kanye naletinhlangothi.
Amidst the ongoing humanitarian programs being implemented in the country, repeated shocks have continued to affect households, and the most vulnerable population groups have been mainly affected. It has therefore become evident that there is a need to enhance our work and invest in resilience building for the vulnerable population to ensure that whenever a disaster strikes, communities will be able to withstand the impact. Since 2019, the World Food Program has provided technical and financial support to the Deputy Prime Minister's office in the three-pronged approach to programming, and UNISWA has also provided technical support towards the rollout of the program.
Lisekela lemphatho yenyuvesi yakuleli Professor Justice Thwala lithi inzima letawudlalwa yinyuvesi ifaka ekhathi kwenta licwaningo kufundzisa tinhlangothi letitsindzekako ngetehlakalo nekusita hulumende asasebenta tindzaba tetehlakalo.
Most recently, UNISWA has taken this partnership even further by contributing to the planning and implementation of the seasonal livelihood programming initiative by WFP, for which the DPM's office has been the leading government entity. UNISWA, through the MOA, is further committing to continue providing the necessary support, technically and otherwise, to strengthen this partnership.
Melusi kunene lobuke emahhovisi aka-World Food Program kuleli uthi kuyakhathata kubona ukuthi tinombolo tebantfu labadzingile tiyakhula kuleli. Uthi kunesidzingo sekuthi kubuke kwekuthi yini leholela kwekuthi tingake tehle letinombolo.
In this MOA we are saying, let us look closer to resilience building. Let us look closer to the issue that are related to social safety nets. Social safety nets that are comprehensive, that are not only targeting the individual, but that will target the household, because we want to see the household moving out of poverty as WFP into a state where we can say now at least we are at a zero poverty rate.
Mapalanelo omkhulu uthi uyethemba kwekuthi lezivumelwane sitawusita emaswati lamaningi. Etindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Nelson Dlangamandla nginambongwa Dube yembabane.
Inkantolo yamanje seyinikete umbuso imvumo yokugcina emazibithi latfolakala kubasolwa emacaleni ekuchumiswa kwemishina yemali. Lamazibithi afaka ekhathi timoto letimbili, imali lengetulu kwa 409,000 emalangeni, tincotfo kanye nemateki lango size 11. Lenye yale mali iyatfolakala eboxini le-KFC.
Labasolwa kulendzaba bosicelo Msibi, Mzwandile Lukhele, Given Mavuso kanye naLindani Zitha babhekene nemacala la-17 lafaka ekhatsi kuchumisa imishina yemali, kweba imali, kuthumba umuntu kanye nekukhwabanisa imali nekuchasa ngetimali buphekulasikuni. Labasolwa bavele phambi kwenkantolo yamanje eMbabane lapho tekuphepha betiqiniswe kakhulu. Umbuso ucele inkantolo ukuthi uyivumele ugcine emazibitha latfolakala kubasolwa nalapho kwendeka khona lobucala. Lamazibitha afaka ekhatsi timoto letimbili, imali lengetulu kwa 251,000 emalangeni leyatfolakala lapho kwachunyiswa khona umshina wemali we-Standard Bank, imali lengetulu kwa 158,000 emalangeni leyatfolakala kubasolwa, timphahla letifaka ekhatsi emateki lango size 11, tincotfo nabomahlalekhukhukhwini kulokunye. Basolwa ngemmeli wabo Sive Ngwenya abakakuphikisi loku lokucelwe ngumbuso, kodvwa bacele kutsi sale kubekwa emalanga ekutekwa kwalendzaba. Umbuso lebewumelelwe ngumncedisi Dlamini utshele inkantolo ukuthi lamalanga angabekwa noko kusamele ayotsatsisa kumcondzisi webashushisi ukuthi lendzaba itawutekwa enkantolo yamanje noma enkantolo lenkulu. Ngwenya ukhalile ukuthi umbuso awusahambi ngetivumelwano noma ke ngekuvumelana kwabo njengobe bekuvunyelwene ukuthi basolwa angeke baphikise sicelo sekugcina emazibithi bese kuvunyelwana ke ngemalanga ekutekwa kwalendzaba. Kugcine sekuvunyelwana ukuthi lendzaba itekwe kusukela mhla ka-18 enyangeni yeMphala. Inkantolo iphindze yajuba ukuthi lamazibithi agcinwe ngumbuso kusatekwa lelicala. Lendzaba beyisembi kwalosabambe kuba nguMantshi Lomkhulu Sifiso Vilakati. Tindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Themkosi Mavimbela. Nginavuma Inkosi Nzinisa kamanje eMbabane.
Kutemidlalo, mengameli wenhlangano lengamele ibhola lapha eveni Peter Simelane usemalungiselelo ekudlalisa imidlalo yeCOSAFA yema under 20 ahamba kahle futhi nahulumende uyababambisa ekuchubeni nemalungiselelo alemidlalo. Lemidlalo kubheka ukuthi icala emhla ka-16 kuya kumhla ka-16 enyangeni letako.
Live la Kangwane kubheka ukuthi lidlalisa imidlalo yeCOSAFA under 20 kulomnyaka losetulu. Kanti live la Kangwane lagcina kudlalisa lemidlalo ngeminyaka 1993. Sasamora Simelane longumengameli wenhlangano lengameli imidlalo yebhola lapha eveni uthi emalungiselelo ekudlalisa lemidlalo asahamba kahle.
Kulama games akaCOSAFA emalungiselelo asasechopheleni leselitulu. Nahulumende in terms of ukuthi basivumele sesikhulumile naye wasivumela ukuthi vele achubeke lama games na COSAFA naye so itfakile letimali lafatha tifake in order ukuthi lama games akhone kudlaleka kahle neteam letawudlala umonga kanje unyonyobe uyoyibuka la ijima khona
seyivele seyilungele lokuthi sengadlala. In terms of my preparation, the local organizing committee sebacishe bahlanganise tonke tintfo.
Le midlalo itawungenelwa amavela 11 lokufaka ikhatsi livele eMozambique lelivikela lendzebe ngemuva okushaya iNamibia kumancama lendzebe nakugcina kubanjwa le midlalo ngeminyaka 2020. Lobikela umsakade Eswatini TV kutemidlalo ngilinda Dlamini kanzi umbiko uhlanganiswa nguFabrice Msonera eMbabane.
Ngaleto temidlalo setephetha tindzaba tetfu tesibili lomhlehlelweni sidabahlola emakethe sibuye sicubeke asinishine simo selitulo.
Pay your TV license quickly and easily with MTN Momo. Simply dial *007 *3# and select option 8 for TV license. Enter your national ID number as your reference and the amount you wish to pay. Then enter your PIN to confirm your payment. Once your payment has been made, you'll receive a confirmation SMS of your payment. If you're a first-time payer, you get another SMS for your TV license. So legalize your entertainment from the comfort of your home. Pay your TV license the easy and convenient way with MTN Momo.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Hi everybody, it's your girl Nojali. Catch me every week on Studio One, giving you the latest trends in fashion, entertainment, and everything that's hip and happening. I'll also be catching up with the movers and shakers, hustlers who are making big moves locally. Don't forget, Studio One, every Saturday at 6 p.m.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Because siyaqhubeka naloku ehlelo namhla ekseni nathanza kula umsakazo yakho bolo umsakazo etithombe Eswatini TV sisehleleni Kusile breakfast show ngolesihlanu bongosi ngolesihlanu we37 kulomnyaka losedulo leviki ke le37 la 2022 sifuna ke kudekani ndzaba tetemandla uyakhumbula ke silive leSwatini lisemkhankasweni nalo lomkhulu usilibe energy sufficient bongosi kutawuncipha na gas kakhulukazi nasitwazi sateka nje indzaba temandla emaswati lamaningi akhuluma indzaba ya gas ngifuna ke ukuthi la maye maphosa lapho ngosi njengoba ntakukhumbula ukuthi la eSwatini likhona umlawuli kulezi indzaba temandla wambisana ke nababela ijawe kutelwa ke even lase Namibia executive director wana inhlangano lebuke lama regional regulatory bodies kulezi indzaba temandla ngibe kanjalo ngirera ngikhumbula ukuthi beba seVinduk 26 September 2002 la atalwa khona lo mthana lona tinduna tetemandla inzabe lenkulu bekatalwa lo ukuthi akahamba ubuye kusingabe kungenziwa kanjani kusi kule region nembalanza ba te energy kube inzaba lo takhanza kusile SADC region iba sufficient kuthiwa ke lesifunda saka SADC we are blessed with so many natural resources kepha ke kulezaba kunema power shortages la khona yini insaya letikhona letenalo ukuthi le region ingathuthuka ngendlela ufuna ukuthuthuke ngayo. Mr. Elijah, good morning and welcome to Eswatini TV. How are you, sir?
Thank you so much. Good morning to you and thank you for having me.
Yeah, we are adopting you. We are giving you the same name, Mr. Stole.
Thank you so much.
You are now one of us. Mama Mfosa kunjani nakusa?
Ngiyaphila njani?
Sifilile. Ngiyazama ukudlalela mani Mama Mfosa lenza bale. Probably singayiqala lana ekuthenini sikhuluma ukuthi ni ngazisitutuma Dave ya mphathi lomkhulu bekunene ula eSwatini. Yini injongo lenkulu ukuthi sibe nababe Elijah eSwatini?
No, thank you so much. Eswatini, we are proud to be hosting Emarera meetings. RERA is part of the SADC body. La Amave, that are part of SADC, are meeting here in the country. Kuba subcommittees, what we call subcommittees of the different thematic areas under irregulation yagezi. So the regional countries are here in Eswatini for meetings. These meetings are very key in the development of the regulatory frameworks that support the work that the different countries are doing. So when the countries come together, there's information sharing, there's a lot of capacity building, there's a lot that the countries are able to do in terms of the regulation activities in the region. Siyakhumbula-ke ukuthi kubike waba sibuya ku-COVID Eswatini bekufune ukuthi ahoste lama meetings in 2020 but because of COVID that was put on hold. Now that the situation has improved, the meetings are happening again. So different countries tend to host these meetings, and this year it is the opportunity of ESERA to host these meetings in the country. So we've got different member states that are here representing the different thematic areas. Sibuga Economic Regulation Subcommittee. Tariff, the economic activity that influence tariffs agezi. We've got a technical regulation subcommittee, for example, lebuga the actual now regulator nje kwema activities agezi. Yes, the technical side of things. We've got subcommittees labuka gas, petroleum and biofuels. So kunema representatives la abakhona in all the different thematic areas. Yeah.
Mr. Elijah, I am not sure if this would be a fair question to you. I was reading the 2015 World Bank report. The World Bank is saying SADC has a total coal output of 265 million back then, 255 million tons. South Africa accounts for 260 million of this. 70 million tons is exported. However, the region experiences power shortages now and again. We have the SADC energy protocols, so many bodies like the Southern Africa Power Pool. But similarly, we are not getting there where we want to be in terms of energy sufficiency. In your own opinion, what is it that SADC has to do to ensure that we are energy sufficient?
Thank you very much. I think that's a very important question, and indeed, we are all very concerned that right now we're having quite a number of challenges in the energy sector.
Yeah.
I can let you know that as a region, we have the plan to be able to address the challenges, and in terms of having self-sufficiency, the Southern African Power Pool has developed what we call a pool plan. So there is a plan now to be able to have enough generation.
Okay.
By 2040, there's a plan to make sure that we have enough transmission capacity so that power is able to get to where it is needed. And I think from a regulatory perspective, this is what we are trying to do, is to say, can we create an enabling environment to allow for other players to come in? So we're not just seeing the state-owned entities, like EEC alone, but we want to see the private players coming in, and in some cases, public-private partnerships as well.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Elijah, I need to catch you right there. We need to sell, then we'll come back and continue these discussions. Because sifuna nje kusasa nje likhefu lelincane kunento market lefuna standulise but nje siqhubeke ke nalezi ingxoxo tethu. Kulenza abantu inkulu mali ngifuna ngingeta ukungena kude official.
I am Eswatini at the Luju Festival. I've just done my demonstration and it was on fire.
I think you love cooking, huh?
I bake a lot of cakes. There's such a vibe here, and what I'm loving is like the fashion, the food. It's just this really amazing combination of lifestyle.
understanding, acknowledging and celebrating what makes us different, what makes us diverse, but also what makes us beautiful as Africans.
I just won the junior chef competition. I was very excited because cooking was one of the most favorite things I love doing.
All right, let me start with my first recipe. So, I've got some raspberries that go on top and some mint.
Beautiful theme, and I think it should be a daily theme for Africa from here on into the future.
Siyaqhubeka bongosi besiteka ke indzaba yetemandla njengoba live leSwatini ke achazile emaphosa ekuthenini libambe ke umhlangano bongosi la qhamuka khona ama players la kule industry ngithanza ligama letemandla manje kepha ke kunethi kwehlukana kwakhona intingweni takhona ngiyafuna ukuthi kuthiwa kunema tools le Israel no developile kunale eSwatini lifeline tariff consumer estimator asisita kanje
okay
sila eSwatini la tools.
Yeah, asita ukukhula amathulusi. Okay, angicale ke nge-lifeline.
Yeah.
I-lifeline maybe kafishane ibuke i-lifeline i-tariff.
Okay.
Lebuke ema-domestic. Kepha kodwa khanza ukuthi kunema khaya la ngakhona ku-afforda gezi. But khanza ukuthi basebenzisa lama units lamancane. Kune study ke lesendiwa in 2018.
Okay.
Satfola ukuthi kunemakhaya la sebenzisa less than or about 50 units per day wagezi. Noma ukhanzo kokuthi basebenzisa gezi kancane.
Okay.
Bamsebenzisela cishe ku lighter tinfo leto. Yeah, mo isikhathi esiningi kuba ku lighter. But abakhona ukum afforda gezi. So kwaba that initiative yokuthi kube ne lifeline tariff ukuthi emakhaya akhone na ukuthi athole gezi. So lifeline yi tariff lele phasi lendela ukuthi emakhaya bakhone emakhaya la lokhanza ukuthi maybe le income yincane beyibuke bantu labane income lengaphasi kwa 3500 ngenyanga. So le lifeline le tariff yabo ukhanza ukuthi yona yehlisiwe kunana ye domestic khanza ukuthi ngu 1 rand 81, but for e-lifeline it's 1 rand 30 something cents.
Yeah.
Lapho. So lena yakhelwe ukuthi lamakhaya la khanza ukuthi le income incane bakhone nabo kum accessa gezi but ngemali lenjani le pass. Yes.
Okay.
So basebenzisa about 50 units per day, but kwangedwa ukuthi at least for lifeline lama units labangawasebenzisa ngenyanga kube ngu-75. So umuntu lo sebenzisa gezi lo sebenzisa 75 units wagezi kuya pass uya qualify ukuthi angenele kule lifeline tariff. Cishe nje yebangishido abantu laba sebenzisa gezi mostly nje ku light khanza ukuthi maybe ukupheka baphekele ngephandle kude stove ba noma nje kubilisa emanti kude ligedlela bakwenta ngephandle basebenzisa umlilo noma basebenzisa igas uyakho gezi labamsebenzisako ncane. So lifeline tariff yento lokusita emakhala ne-income le phansi futhi nabo bakhone sebenza gezi yathi gezi umcoka emakhaya abantwana bayamsebenzisa kutadisha bakhona kutadisha ebusuku yabona tinfo leto bangabi semnyameni sokutshenziswa ikhandlela live selithuthukile kuloko. So le tariff isita emakhaya ukuthi nabo bakhona ukuthi babe nayo gezi.
Mr. Leja, I'm sticking with this World Bank report. There's over-reliance on crude oil imports in the region, yet we are vulnerable to global price shocks. There is this committee that was established in 2017, the Interstate Natural Gas Committee, to promote the use of natural gas. I'm not sure if that committee was established because they are saying it has to oversee the regional gas master plan. I'm not sure if we do have that plan. If we do, is it yielding the desired results in terms of exploring other alternatives that we can use?
Thank you very much. I can confirm that the Interstate Gas Committee has been established, and it did embark on the development of the Regional Gas Master Plan. This project has been done in 2 phases. Phase 1 has been completed, and Phase 2 also was just validated in the last 2 weeks as well. So we've got a report that will help us to be able to develop the Regional Gas Master Plan. What is just remaining, and I think there's going to be a final validation workshop maybe during the month of October, is basically to make sure that that report is turned into a proper regional gas master plan. So a lot of work has been done, and I think at the next Energy Ministers meeting, we will be submitting as part of the SADC approval processes the regional gas master plan. So a lot has been done, and the region is really moving to be able to harness the gas resources, because we believe gas is very important in terms of us to transition to clean energy.
True. I'm yet to hear a head of state who will take to the podium and say, economically, we are doing well. I'm trying to drive this point. All these projects will need funding. As a region, where are we going to get, because we need a lot of money for all these projects. Where are we getting the funding from?
Somebody told me that money is not a problem. It's a question of just putting your ideas on paper and convincing those that have money to give you money. And this is where the enabling environment comes in, because we know that our governments have a lot of competing demands for the resources. And therefore, as I mentioned earlier on, one of our roles as regulators is to create that environment that would also attract other participants. And we're looking at the private sector, but we are looking also at pension funds, and we're looking at a lot other sources of financing. What is critical is, if they are able to bring in their money, would they be able to earn a reasonable rate of return? And I think this is where we as regulators, working with other stakeholders, play a meaningful role. So we want to develop frameworks that would make the environment investor friendly. We're also encouraging that tariffs should be cost reflective. In other words, they recover all the cost and also make those that invest in a reasonable rate of return. But just as you were earlier on discussing, we are saying even when we have these cost reflective tariffs, can we also do something that would make those with low incomes to be able to access a minimum level of service, and hence the lifeline tariffs that you were discussing earlier on.
Okay. My final question to you, Mama Posta, it's actually ukulma elejale ngena kwala mama players la kangwane kunana indzaba yalaba independent power producers. Le ground seliyavuma yini ukuthi nabo banga participate?
Yeah, there are initiatives for to ensure that the environment is enabling for independent power producers. So this is as he's mentioned, the regional initiatives that are being done to ensure that independent power producers also participate in the issues or in the market to produce electricity, and also then to sell it properly to a utility, and then it gets to the consumers. So you find that the different initiatives that are there, or the regulations, they are there to say how can the IPPs, the independent power producers, produce their electricity, sell it to the utility, and how are they compensated for that. And not only for a utility in the country, there's a Southern African power pool where they could also now even sell the electricity at a regional level. And you find that now with the initiatives of renewable energy, there are different opportunities to produce electricity using solar, using biomass, and the other, although in Eswatini it's bugega kulu solar, ne-biomass, but kusatobuketa letinye tindlela bo-wind nani but akhona ematfuba ekuthi ema-independent producers now akhone kungena.
Nembala Bongosi, Mr. Elijah, thank you so much for coming through. I hope before you leave the kingdom, we'll have another conversation. Sabang cool mema posa sinbena sinamteksen. Sembe simseben Bongosi utaw hamba kahle. Ngivelo singase kunano buhle waseSwatini namhlanje kufunena naye sikhulume naye namteksen. Lapha safuna nje sendule ukuthi njoba kuna Queen Elizabeth II emangisini, sekuna King Charles III manje. Who is King Charles? The longest ever king in waiting.
Heir to the throne since he was 3 years old, Prince Charles just became Great Britain's new monarch at the age of 73. It was the beginning of a life preparing for his role as future king, largely spent in his mother's shadow. After private schooling, Charles became the first ever heir to the throne to get a bachelor's degree after graduating from Cambridge in 1970. And at 20 years old, Charles was invested as the 21st Prince of Wales, the title given to male heirs of the British throne.
I, Charles, Prince of Wales, do become your liege man of life and limb, and of earthly worship, and faith and truth I will bear unto thee.
Charles then served in the Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy. In 1981, the engagement of the Prince of Wales and 19-year-old Lady Diana Spencer was announced, propelling the couple into a media frenzy.
Just delighted and happy. And I'm amazed that she's been brave enough to take me on. And I suppose in love. Of course. Whatever in love means.
A few months later, their wedding was watched by 750 million viewers worldwide, marking a high point in popularity for the royal family. The Prince and Princess of Wales had 2 sons, Prince William, second in line to the throne, and Prince Harry. Their marriage became increasingly strained amid years of intense scrutiny and rumours of infidelity on both sides splashed in the front pages.
It is announced from Buckingham Palace that, with regret, the Prince and Princess of Wales have decided to separate.
In 1993, Charles's affair with longtime friend and former girlfriend Camilla Parker Bowles became public, when the transcript of an intimate phone call in 1989 between the pair was leaked. The prince admitted to adultery in a documentary. In 1997, a year after their divorce was finalised, Diana, a beloved figure for the British public and beyond, was killed in a car crash in Paris. Charles and the Queen initially seemed out of step with the outpouring of national grief, and the royal family's popularity plummeted as a result. 2 years later, Charles and Camilla made their first appearance as a couple, but public opinion of the pair was mixed. They married in 2005, sparking years of fierce debate over whether Camilla would one day be queen. Speculation which only ended when Queen Elizabeth stated her wish for Camilla to be queen consort when Charles became king. Involved in more than 400 charities, the Prince of Wales is known for his philanthropic work, which has sometimes come under the spotlight for controversial donations.
We've come together as father and son to lend our voices to the growing global effort to combat the illegal wildlife trade.
He's also been one of the more outspoken members of the royal family, frequently voicing his opinion on architecture, climate change and the environment. Over the years, he gradually took on more duties as the establishment prepared for a transition and the Queen's health declined. Most notably reading the Queen's speech on her behalf to open Parliament for the first time in 2022. The year she celebrated 70 years on the throne.
My lords and members of the House of Commons.
For the majority of the British public, Queen Elizabeth is the only monarch they've ever known and has remained very popular throughout her decades on the throne. But it's now been confirmed Britain's new king will be known as Charles III.
Today the crown passes, as it has done for more than 1,000 years, to our new monarch, our new head of state, His Majesty, King Charles III.
Charles's reign will mark the beginning of a new era for the royal family, whose reputation has been dented by several scandals, whilst polls have indicated a growing disaffection with the monarchy among the young.
Welcome back. Salubuyela hlelo Kusile Breakfast Show. Siyakuvusela nawo lo sanza kusuvelela only 15 minutes left before kushaya insimbi yesiphohlongo namhla ekseni. Sitakhuluma kabanti nalabo labalungiselela umsebenzi wa Miss Eswatini 2022. Sitakhuluma ukuthi ubuyileke lo nyaka emva kokuthi unyamalala nje iminyaka lemibalwa. Sitakhulumisana naye lapha chair lady wayo iPageants Eswatini liviwe eMakubu. Good morning and welcome to the show. Kusingeta nje sithomese ukuthi benseloni kuphi ning Miss Eswatini and nibuya nani nyalo, what developments does the pageant have?
Okay, thank you so much Lulu for welcoming me. As Miss Eswatini, as we all know, the pageant hasn't been there for quite some time, because when we wanted to start again 2020, then COVID came, then everything kind of went to a stop. But our new developments right now, we want to approach even the parent, because we need to understand that these girls that actually come into the competition, that actually join the pageant, are under guardianship of the parent. So we want an approach that is going to make the parent comfortable in allowing umvanake ukuthi angene into the pageant, because over the years we do know that reputation in my pageants hasn't been really one listenati be positive, because we need to understand also that there's a very thin line between pageants and a pimping house. I don't know if you get that one. But yes, there's a really thin line between pageants and a pimping house. So as a parent, I'm a parent of a girl child myself. I wouldn't willingly allow my child to go into something whereby there's a possibility of the child being pimped out or whatever. Because now our approach is, motto yetu is a beacon of hope. So we want to make the girl child understand that when you get into a national pageant, it's not for the self. You understand? So you have a social responsibility. And you having a social responsibility actually means that we are not here for your beauty only. That is not going to cut it this time. The beauty on its own is not going to cut it, because now you stand as an ambassador. You stand as this mirror. You are going to mirror the ideal girl child, the ideal woman that each and every girl child lokhona is going to be able to say, oh, I can be able to do A, B, C, and D. You are there to actually be a representation of what we want our girls to grow up being. You understand? Because I'll give you an example. Kuna Miss Cultural Heritage. Kuna Miss Eswatini. Those are two different pageants, and they've got two different mandates. For your Miss Cultural, we want to make sure that we make the girls understand culturally, we would say this is what is expected of them. This is how culture is going to help them preserve certain things. This is how culture is going to help them grow in certain aspects of their lives. You understand? And then we will have your Miss Eswatini. Miss Eswatini actually it's an international pageant. So we want a situation whereby this young woman will be able to go out to any other part of the world and be able to represent the country properly, intellectually be there. You understand? Intellectually be there and all other else. Hence, a strategy set for this Miss Eswatini is we expect the girls to have a certain project that they are running to actually say, okay, this is our, because now we are at top 25. So the voting lines are in, and then there are going to be selections. Then we get to the top 10. So when we get to the top 10, we expect them to present to the nation so that they understand that we are trying to instill this thing of saying you have a national responsibility.
So the projects here, social responsibility,
yes,
in the communities.
In the communities, okay. They all need to have a personal project that they are running, whether it's charity or maybe gardening or whatever, ever. So they just can't come and say, "Oh, I'm in the top 10." No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Being Miss Eswatini actually means you have a responsibility. You need to be accountable as well. So what is it that the other girls, the young women, the growing children are going to look at with you and say, well, we have learned A, B, C, D, and E? Like, it obviously can't be Lishia Lako. It can't. So it needs to be something substantial. So that is what we are actually trying to achieve. Also to say, we need to have running programs, just like Lama programs that they each have to have. Okay. Something that will actually make you as a parent to say, even though she didn't win, but she got to acquire skill in certain things. She got to identify certain things about her that she didn't know that she liked, because we're still going to look into things of health, exercise, things like that, so as to try and encompass the whole person, the whole being. Yeah.
Right. So what's the feedback response that you're getting from Eswatini, after being away for 2 years as National because of COVID?
Yeah.
As in Eswatini, and what's the hype? Are they excited? It's okay. The pageant is back on.
Well, they always say all publicity is good publicity, right? So yeah, we have. There has been hype around it. And okay, when the pageant started, the entry videos that were there were raw.
Okay.
And there was a public outcry. They are too raw. They are too... Well, that is exactly how we wanted it to be. Those were entry videos. So you actually want to see Liviwe as naturally and as authentic as she can be. Why? So as to be able to take the nation through the journey of the transformation. Because the whole point is not for you to actually see me when I'm all dolled up and I'm all, but the whole point is to actually communicate that these are real people. These are real girls from real communities. The journey started from here when you had someone said, one comment on Facebook said, it's almost like a Niger movie, So you can actually follow the journey from the Niger movie to, oh, okay, this development, this change, this evolution. This is where we started and this is where we are. And where we are right now, many people are excited about it. People are voting for their favorite contestants, and I think things are really looking up.
All right. So lastly, 30 seconds. How do we vote, and when is the deadline?
Okay. So voting lines are open for, we have MTN, we have Momo, we have Swazi Mobile. And with the closing of the voting line, we had a closing date, but because when the voting started, we had a slight problem with our MTN. Okay. So I think we are going to try and, be a little flex on the dates. But everything is going to be communicated.
Okay, thank you so much, Liviwe. Mbugeli bezikhulumisana na Liviwe, who's the chair lady with Pageants Eswatini. Jabdakum logo to Miss Eswatini 2022 uyabuya, and voting lines are still open. Nangabufuna kwabona ama contestants akhona ku Facebook as well as on Instagram. Seba ku top 25 manje. Let's quickly take a break. So we are see bukete midlalo.
Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Pay your TV license quickly and easily with MTN Momo. Simply dial *007 *3 hash and select option 8 for TV license. Enter your national ID number as your reference and the amount you wish to pay. Then enter your PIN to confirm your payment. Once your payment has been made, you'll receive a confirmation SMS of your payment. If you're a first-time payer, you get another SMS for your TV license. So legalize your entertainment from the comfort of your home. Pay your TV license the easy and convenient way with MTN Momo.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
5 minutes before 8 o'clock umbukelista uthi nje ukubuka leto temidlalo letitabe tendeka kule mphela somvo lesiyakiyo namaster asekuvuzela master asibakhulu nje ukuthi ube nathi nalo sinesikhathi lesincane nje kumbe usikhetha nje
sengidawushada elimofulu ngivusele bona babukele this coming weekend kudlala imidlalo yeCAF ema teams la alakhaya lamelele live emidlalweni yeCAF lokhuluma ngeRoyal Party limelele live CAF Champions League iseMadagascar lokungikhuluma yodlala CWFA yakhona CAF Champions League game leyo then Royal Party Mbabane Highlanders ihosta Royal AM yase South Africa ku CAF Confederations Cup enkundleni esivika somhlolo ke lolu this coming weekend utabadlala kwecala in 3 years remember ukuthi the last game it was the Ngonyama Cup final Mbabane Highlanders versus Green Mamba so Mbabane Highlanders the last team to play ka somhlolo the first team to play ku the renovated somhlolo nangayibeka kanjalo but kune team eMadatsi lebeyise Namibia alulu liyathola imendlela medal minister namuhla utabe aba honorisha ukuthi benda kahle kule midlalo leyo asati lokuthi ingabe imali noma yini asati stava khona ku Minister of Sports enyalo nga10 otherwise the weekend lena ngicabanga ukuthi ema CAF games
yeah ngabe yona EPL mhlambe itawuchubeka naloko
ukhuluma lolu indzaba EPL kumeyetu itolo i-decision le noma i-statement lesiformal sitawuphuma kahle namuhla but ema games English Premier League atawuma for 2 weeks lokusho for the next 2 weeks kude ema games EPL English Premier League ku honorisha the late Queen Elizabeth II then kulo 2 weeks nakuphela 2 weeks kuya ku FIFA weeks kusho singenteka ukuthi ema games English Premier League singawaboni for the next 4 weeks so if umlandzelo weEPL ngenteka uhlale 4 weeks ungayiboni i-team yakho idlala but sisata over kahle namhla an official statement.
All right nosibonga kakhulu master 3 minutes before 8 sibahlethe market sibuye masinyane sitawuvala hlelo na LinkedIn.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Phisa ke bonke sihlelo lo muhla kungolwesihlanu seba sinthotele kuba nasi ngi-interested la ngoba ngiyabona kuyavota lapha ku Miss
Eswatini. Yeah.
Ukuba ngi-Miss kufune ube muhle noma must have the brains.
No, uyichazile nje live ukuthi nyalo this time ababuka kakhulu lobuhle. Kumele ukuthi ube nalamanye ama qualities
lo muhle ngidawuthi singilonjani.
Asathi makwabane but ke labavotile nje ukuthi lobuhle abaphambise embili this time. Yeah, bafuna lamanye ama qualities nje. Lokuthi you're knowledgeable, you're intellectual, yabo.
Didn't you adapt?
Didn't you adapt? Yes. Bamfu yabatanza, you know, dokona kwenda about charity. Yeah, abafuni kakhulu lobuhle this time.
Kune madoda ngathi akuphi manje la eAfrica bekalwa ayizisa nenkantolo abantu silomunye uthole isicoco. Akhaya lona ukuthi ngimi bekune kuvotela indodza lembi. Ithi ngidliwe njani mina ngoba ngimubi kakhulu kunalo.
Alright, simukele sekusele nje umzuzu munye sishaya isimbi esiphohlongo nomhla ekseni sibongela ukuthi nibe nathi lo muhla ehleleni sithanda ukuthi indaba nempela somvo lenhle nale busisekile.